Hello dear students, I welcome you all for our lecture series on agrochemicals and pest control. In this episode, we are going to deal with the topic pests of oilseeds and forage crops. Oilseeds occupy an important position in agriculture and industrial economy. So, management of pest problems and using possible control techniques could increase the quality and quantity of the products. A large variety of pests damage oilseeds and cause significant losses in the farms or storages, among which insect pests are a significant factor in the economics of oilseed production. There are also several vertebrate pests such as rats, slugs and birds. Pests of oilseeds can be classified according to the different factors such as taxonomic grouping, feeding habitat and distribution. Within each groups, the pest status may vary with country, year and season depending on species, variety, cropping system used. Some of the pests may attack a certain type of oilseeds. The others can feed on a variety of crops. Pests with different feeding habitat could have either chewing or sucking mouthparts. Pests with chewing mouthparts eat parts of the crops such as flowers, foliage, stems, roots or buds. They may only eat portions of leaves, leave holes in the leaves, cause bud abscission, reducing yield of the pods and leaf area, earlier leaf abscission, delayed flowering or bore into stems and roots. To make better understanding of the topic can be divided into the following subheadings. They are pests of cotton, pests of groundnut, pests of sunflower and safflower, pests of mustard and pests of forage crops. To begin with, let us concentrate on pests of cotton. The name of the pest is Pectinophora gossypiella. Coming to the identification, the mouth is small and dark brown with blackish bands on the forewings and hind wings are silvery grey. Eggs are flattened oval and striate about 0.5 mm long, 0.25 mm wide. The larvae are pinkish with dark brown head and about 15 mm length. Pupae are in a thin silken cocoon among the lint inside a seed, in between bracts or in cracks in the soil. Coming to life cycle and damage. The pink bollworm female lays the eggs on the bolls or in between or on buds and flowers. After 4 to 25 days, due to the weather conditions, eggs hatch and larvae crawl to the bolls. Larvae full grown in 25 to 35 days and the pupal period is about 6 to 20 days. The larvae feed early in the season from the inside of the green bolls. Seeds being destroyed in addition to retardation of lint development, lint weaken and stain both inside the ball and in the gin, causing lint yield losses. In addition, infested bolls open prematurely and are invaded by saprophytic fungi. Another type of pest for cottons are locust and grasshoppers. Identification: there are different species of locust and grasshoppers that attack oilseed crops, especially cotton. Australian plague locust Crotiositus termifera will not generally damage cotton although some light damage has been observed on field margins as swarms move through an test field. The spur-throated locust Ostractris gutulosa, if present in large swarms, can cause damage. The variegated grasshopper Zonoceras variegatus is the only grasshopper pest in the humid forest zone. It causes damage on most crops, mainly cassava but also cotton. Coming to life cycle and damage. Grasshoppers can be occasional early season pests. In late summer and fall, females lay eggs in grassy foothills, on ditch banks, along roadsides and fence rows in pasture areas. The eggs hatch in spring and the young nymphs feed on nearby plants. Higher temperatures result in faster development of the eggs and nymphal growth. Hot and dry weather conditions favor population increase, while cool and moist conditions decrease population growth. When wild grasses and other plants become dry, the grasshoppers migrate to irrigated croplands. Both nymphs and adults can defoliate crops or chip through the stem, weakening the plant, which often will fall over at the wound site. They overwinter in egg cases which were deposited in the soil. Now we shall move on to the pests of groundnut. Stomopteryx submicella and Aproerma modicella. Coming to the identification of these pests, the moth of Stomopteryx submicella is brownish grey, 6 mm long with 10 mm wingspan. The eggs are shiny white. The larvae are about 1 mm long at first and enlarge as the larvae grow. Pupation takes place in the webbing. Aproerma modicella moths are brownish grey, 6 mm long with 10 mm wingspan. Forewings have white spot on the costal margin. The larvae are green in color with dark head and prothorax. Coming to life cycle and damage. Leaf miner is one of the most important pests of groundnut. The females lay eggs singly underside of the leaflets. Young larvae initially mine into the leaflets, feed on the mesophyll and form small brown spots on the leaf. Afterward, larvae web the leaflets together and feed on them, remaining within the folds. Next one is Apis gossypiae. Coming to identification, Apis gossypiae is commonly referred as cotton aphid. Adults are small, apterate, 0.9 to 1.8 mm long and alate 1.1 to 1.8 mm long and variable in color from greenish brown to orange or dirty yellow with soft body. Nymphs are small sizes of adults. Regarding life cycle and damage, the females reproduce nymphs parthenogenetically and viviparous, which become adults in 7 to 9 days. Cotton aphid is the most common aphid pest, infest the cotton seedlings. They are phloem feeders, causing direct leaf crumpling and downward curling with severe attack. Adults and nymphs suck sap from the undersurface of the leaves, produce honeydew, indirectly decrease cotton fiber quality and may burn the leaves. Block sooty mold develops on the honeydew interfere photosynthesis of the leaves. Also, they are known as a vector of viruses. The aphids transmit plant virus cotton bunchy top appearing in fields across the Australia. Now coming to next part, that is pests of sunflower and safflower. First we will concentrate on sunflower. Name of the pest is Hellula undalis. Coming to identification, moths of Hellula undalis are pale greyish brown covered with reddish color. Their forewings have wavy grey markings, a curved pale patch subterminally and a kidney shaped mark on third length from the tip. The wingspan is about 18 mm. Hind wings are pale with the tip being lightly colored. The eggs are small, oval and slightly flattened upon the plant surface. They are creamy white when freshly laid, become pinkish the next day and then turn brownish red. Larvae are pale whitish brown with 4 or 5 pinkish brown longitudinal strips. Pupation occurs in a silk cocoon and early stage pupae are soft and very pale yellowish white in color with a bright red dorsal blood. Coming to life cycle and damage. Females lay eggs singly or in groups or chains of 2 or 3 on the leaves near the bud, and after 4 to 5 days the eggs hatch. Cabbage head borer caterpillars initially excavate the leaves and make it white papery. Later they feed on leaves and bore into stems. Entrance hole is covered with silk and excreta. The next pest is Spilosoma obliqua. Identification. Bihar hairy caterpillar moth is brown with a 40 to 50 mm wingspan and a red abdomen. Eggs are light green spherical in clusters on the underside of leaves. The larvae are covered with long yellowish to black hairs and are up to 5 cm long. The pupa forms a thin silken cocoon by interwoven shed hairs of the larvae. Regarding the life cycle and damage, each female lays 533 to 1287 eggs and the eggs hatch after about 6 to 9 days. Larval and pupal stages lasted 34 to 45 and 16 to 22 days respectively, giving a total life cycle of 59 to 76 days. Young larvae feed gregariously on the undersurface of the leaves and cause loss by way of defoliation. Sometimes after defoliated, the crop larvae feed on the capsules. In severe cases, only stems are left behind. Pupation takes place in the soil under dry foliage and debris where the pupae overwintering. They also severely damage the oil seeds. Now we shall concentrate on safflower. The name of the pest is Dactynotus carthami. Coming to identification, the synonym of safflower aphid is Euroleucon compositae. Adults are about 1.5 to 2 mm long, black with pear-shaped body and conspicuous cornicles. Nymphs are reddish brown. Coming to life cycle and damage. It is a serious pest of safflower. During pre-flowering stage, Both nymphs and adults suck the cell sap from shoot apexes, peduncles, leaves and stems, secrete a honeydew-like secretion on upper surface of the leaves and plant parts, forming a black sooty mold which hinders photosynthetic activity, resulting in stunted growth. In severe attacks, the plants dry up. Yield losses caused by aphids is about 40 to 50% and infestation may occur 30 to 45 days old crop. It has 4 nymphal stages. There are other major aphid species that cause severe or moderate damage to safflower such as Dactynotus orientalis, Dactynotus jca, Macrosiphon sonchi, Macrosiphon compositae, Microsiphon species, Macrosiphon persei, Aphis phaephia and Capitophorus illigni. The next pest is Perigia capensis. Coming to identification, the synonyms of the species are Pergia electa and Platycenta electa. The adult is dark brown and forewings are dark brown with pale wavy marks. Hind wings are light brown. Safflower caterpillars are stout, green and smooth. The anal segment is humped and the body has some purple markings. Coming to life cycle and damage. The larvae feeds on the leaves, bracts, flowers, capsules and sometimes on capitulum too. They also bore into the stem and flower buds and feed on the contents. Next crop and the pest is pests of mustard. The name of the pest is Lepiphis erycimi. Coming to identification, aphids are small, soft-bodied, pearl-shaped with a pair of coruncles projecting out from the 5th or 6th abdominal segment. Wingless female aphids are yellowish green, grey green or olive green with a white waxy bloom covering the body. The winged females have a dusky green abdomen with dark lateral stripes separating the body segments and dusky wing veins. Males are olive green to brown in color. Regarding the life cycle and damage, mustard aphids infest the crops right from vegetative stage to pod stage. Both nymph and adults suck the sap from leaves, buds and pods. Curling may occur for infested leaves and at advanced stage plants may wither and die. Plants remain stunted and sooty molds grow on the honeydew excreted by the insects. The infected field looks pale and blighted in appearance. Rainy and humid weather help in accelerating the growth of insects. They have 4 nymphal instars. The next pest is Bagrada hilaris. Regarding the identification, painted bug adult is black with orange spots and markings called painted bug. These stink bugs are about 5 to 7 mm long. Females are larger than the males and both have distinctive black. The eggs are oval shaped and off-white in color, developing to an orange color when growth. Nymphs' color changed as they develop from bright orange to red with dark markings, gradually acquiring the coloration of the adult. Wing pads are visible in the last instar nymph and gradually developed as they grow. Coming to life cycle and damage, Females lay about 50 to 80 eggs singly or in clusters of approximately 2 to 4 eggs during their lifetime. The eggs are laid on leaves or on the soil underneath host plants, which hatch after 5 to 8 days. It has 5 nymphal stages. All stages of painted bugs can be found on a plant, and both adults and nymphs suck sap from all parts of the plant. Young plants wilt and wither as a result of the attack. Also, adults excrete a resinous substance which spoils the pods. They often stunt and growth of newly formed central shoots or heads of plants. Quality and quantity of yield is affected when grown-up plants are infected. Harvested crop in threshing floor is also infested. Now we can concentrate on pests of forage crops. Alfalfa snout beetle. The scientific name is Ornithorhynchus linguistiae. Coming to description, the adult is a flightless dark grey weevil approximately 12 mm in length. Larvae are small, white and legless with a light reddish brown head and can be found in the soil, feeding on or in the roots. The snout beetle has a 2-year cycle. Adults emerge from their overwintering sites in April, feed on new alfalfa shoots and migrate into new fields to lay eggs. Adults may walk short distances or may be carried longer distances via the transportation of soil, gravel, hay, farm machinery and waterways. The eggs soon hatch and begin feeding on the main and side roots of the host plant. Regarding the damage, this potentially serious pest of forage crops was first discovered in eastern Ontario near Prescott and Brockville. Additional infestations have since been found in Kemptville and Ottawa. The larvae girdle the taproot, leaving deep spiral grooves. Severely injured plants may appear yellow and leafless in the fall. Adults feed on leaves and stems, causing only marginal damage. Damage is most evident in late summer and early fall. The next pest is potato leaf hopper. The potato leaf hopper adult is a pale green, wedge-shaped winged insect about 3 mm long with piercing and sucking mouthparts. It is most broad towards the head, tapering evenly to the wingtips. It has a row of 6 rounded white spots behind the head. Nymphs are smaller than adults and are wingless. Potato leaf hopper do not overwinter in Ontario but migrate north every spring, carried by weather fronts that start in the Gulf of Mexico. Adults may arrive in late spring and begin sucking on plant juices. Females lay their eggs in the tissue of main veins and petioles of leaves. Development from egg to adult takes approximately 4 weeks. Coming to damage to alfalfa, damage is more severe in new seedlings and young regrowth. While potato leaf hopper nymphs and adults suck juices from plant foliage, they inject a protein that blocks veins. This causes the edges to become yellow and wrinkled with a characteristic yellow V-shaped beginning at the tip of the leaves. When severe, the leaves appear burnt, which is called hopper burn. Potato leaf hopper feeding causes reduced stem elongation, reduced root development, leaf cupping and stunting. Yields can be lowered by as much as 50% with a severe infestation, accompanied by a reduction in protein levels of 2 to 3%. Decreased stand vigor results in slow regrowth following cutting and increased winter kill. The symptoms of potato leaf hopper are commonly confused with herbicide injury problems and nutrient deficiency. Most of the damage occurs from June to mid-August. High risk factors include hot, drier than normal seasons. Symptoms are sometimes confused with nutrient deficiency or herbicide injury and are often dismissed as drought damage. Now we can conclude our session. I conclude the session by saying that protection of the crops from pests infestation and keeping the pest under proper control has become in consideration due to the importance of the crops. Pest management is done by different methods such as cultural control, biological control, physical control, host plant resistance and assessing the economic thresholds to determine the need to apply pesticides. By doing one of these methods, farmers can protect their farms and agricultural produce. So students, I hope you have some useful information in this episode. Thank you so much for watching this session. Keep watching our lecture programs. Hope we will meet in the future episode. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye for now.